Once again, it is August 25th of 2024. I'm in Newburyport, Mass, at the top of the hill cemetery behind what's called the Mall, which is a body of water surrounded by sort of a sloping dike. And above it, on a hill, is this graveyard. The stones are very neat, and a lot of them have designs on them that I have not ever seen before. This is a combination of styles, and it is an American carver with German influence, and the wonderful script lettering, "Redeem your hours." And I'll bring that inscription to full light when I do the rubbing that you'll see in a moment. The script I'm going to omit. What I'm going to do is rub the lunette, which is this part with the two faces and the heart in the center and the wonderful hourglass. And then I'm going to turn the paper 90 degrees, and then I'm going to go at this wonderful stylized lotus and put that at the bottom here. I mean, that's one of the things you can do with your own gravestone rubbings, is you can go ahead and rearrange the graphics if you have the space. So hang with me for just a moment. Now, before we begin, I'm going to show you some of the accoutrements that are the must for any serious adventure into gravestone rubbing. First of all, the stone. The stone should be intact. It should be made of fine grain, good quality slate. It should not be showing any signs of damage or surface wear. It should be free of cracks or obvious damage of any kind, because our goal is to leave it exactly as we found it or better. Now, we have a couple of brushes. One is actually a soft natural bristle brush. One is a synthetic, slightly rougher brush. And our first order of business is to clean the surface we're going to be performing a rubbing on. We look for the lichen as it's proud on the surface. If there's bird poop, note that, and start from the top down. We're going to go away from the edge so we don't fracture the micro edges of the material on the top of the lunette. Away from that. Now, once we're inside, we rub circular on the most proud pieces of lichen, and you can see them slough off almost immediately. They'll still leave some. There's no avoiding it, and that's just part of the charm of the piece, is that's there. I'm not going to go ahead and go too far. If I find I want to clear a spot out with my fingernail, that's legal. Your fingernail is of a much softer durometer than the stone, and so you're not doing any harm by actually using your finger to get at that stuff if you have things that are graphically going to really detract. So go at those individually if you wish. I'm doing that here. Just certain spots. I don't want any on his lip. I don't want any on his eye. So I'm going to brush that over. Now, dig that out the bottom. Because the lichen is a symbiote. It's it's leaching chemicals out of the stone by releasing acids that break down the stone, and it has both a fungus and I believe, algae, and the two work together, and that's why it is sort of a blue-green color. It's very light, but it is blue-green, like blue-green algae, and so there you go. Okay. I know this is taking a while. I'm going to just pause and finish up. All right, so we've gotten the major stuff out of most of the spaces in between here. Go at just a couple more. Da 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 da. That one will show up. This one here, of course, is a little thick, and we want the details to show up in the hourglass, and of course the text. So I've gotten most of this out, and I've given it the hard brush. Now this is the soft bristle brush. This is literally to just wash it, get dirt and accumulated dust of centuries out of the crevices and out of the way. And we're going to do this both to the front and the back. The reason we do it to the back, we leave the lichen intact on the back because we don't really concern ourselves with what it's been doing, and no one's ever cleaned the lichen off the back. So if you could see it back here, it's literally a forest of lichen. So you wash that off too. And now the next accoutrement that you need is a good artist's release tape. You don't want to use painter's masking tape because it has adhesives that will stick to the stone and damage the stone. You want to use this stuff here. This is Pro Artist's tape. Now, the difference being it's a really sturdy paper, first of all, okay? And the adhesive stays on the tape. It doesn't pull off. So it's a very good thing to do this without doing any kind of harm to the stone itself. And the adhesive is not going against the stone. It's actually going against the lichen on the back of the stone. And we'll get into that. Now, I came armed with a couple of options for paper. This black paper is actually not gravestone rubbing paper, but it's almost the same object. It is brassing paper. This is actually what you would buy in the UK when you went to visit the tombs with their brass effigies of knights and their ladies. And this is what you would use to create the very atypical not atypical, stereotypical gold-colored rubbings of those particular objects. You may have seen them. And so that is an option, and I have it here in this width, which doesn't quite do it, but if I turn it 90 degrees, do I have it? No, I do not. Okay, so although I have brought it, this is out of the book, out of the picture on the page, because instead, I'm going to have to use the full sheet of the white that I brought with me. Now this paper, which goes under the brand name Aquaba, that's A-Q-U-A-B-A, Aquaba, is a bright cotton paper with a hemp fiber running through it. The hemp gives it just tensile strength in a linear direction. You can't pull it apart. So it's very stiff like that, but it's very supple and soft in other directions, so it takes a good image when you're using wax to make impressions of these things underneath it. And it is just wide enough to accomplish this. So let's go. Come on, get up there, please. Now I've taped the paper flat to the surface, and it's covering very nicely. You've noticed that I've put straight angles on the edges of the border to the left and right as best as I could to center the image on the paper. I've left at least 5 inches at the top and at the bottom, and it's folded over and then taped to the back and then to the bottom front, as you see. Notice the angle of the pieces of tape. That's specifically to draw the thing out like a drum head, and I'm going to gently now begin going over it in the starting color, which is always sepia. Now I'm going to trust that you all can see me and my activity here. I hope the light is good. I've actually snapped a couple of the branches back from an old maple here because they are not needed and they are not hurting the tree. That is, the removal of them is not hurting the tree. Okay, now we have a little more light. That's good. It is the time of day too. It's late afternoon. Now, the paper and the wax themselves are all available online, and I'm going to post the URL to the company, which is I have it written on here somewhere, but I'm not sure. gravestonerubbingsupplies.com. Okay, that's what, yes, you got that. So gravestonerubbingsupplies.com, and this is the brown or sepia that I start with, but I also have blue, I have some purple, I have quite a few colors to work from here, including the metallics. I'm not going to use the metallics on this one much because it's kind of a waste if you're not using the dark black background. Let's see, here we go, black, of course, and then I have another blue and black to work from. So anyways, like I said, we'll start with the sepia just to lay it in. This is because the sepia itself kind of disappears underneath the apparent density of the other colors. So you don't really need to get too fancy with the sepia, because once it's there, it forms a a base that optically doesn't really go farther than that. There we go. Rust is the actual name of the color. But nonetheless, here we go. I start usually from the middle center and go outwards first. And I try to, in general, go that way, and also to draw down from the top, because if I'm doing especially text, I want the text to appear uniform. And the way to do that is to always make the strokes the same direction. So just for the sake of argument, we'll start from the middle and then sort of radiate out, but we're always going to be going in the same direction. So here we go. Start like that. Very soft, don't go high. There's my heart right there in the middle. So I'm going to start with the heart. And you'll see the graphic appear as you go. There's no second guessing it. It's just the way it is. It's good. So, got it. And we want this wing here. Now, as I said, one thing that I'm going to be doing here is not getting into the bottom part. I'm going to stop, and I'm going to then move the paper if I have time. I hope I have time. It's getting late. We'll see what happens here. I'm going to follow that around to there. So there's our lunette. We're going to go ahead and etch the lunette in with one stroke. And fortunately, this stone is in really good condition. You can see my image come out of that, and there's my endpoint. And if you look at it, you can even see the chisel line that they made for the endpoint there. And if I go down here, probably should find the same point. Yeah, and so that's nice. Get into that. Now the inside of the lunette. We're not going to do the text until we have the very end, but here is the cartouche, you might say, that contains the text, which I'm going to just line in like so. So that there is where all that text resides. So this is the hourglass. I'm going to just put that in a little more graphically hard so that we know it's there. And then the, oh, it looks like a shroud, actually. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. It's a folded shroud. The symbolism in these is usually very straightforward and very having to do with death. And so they're not making any bones about it, no pun intended. Now, since we know what that is, we're going to go straight across here and find the bottom part of this. It's right there. So, we don't have to go further than that because we're going to put this here. You understand me? Just imagine this design 90 degrees. That's what we're going to do. So that's our goal. Here comes the wings and the foundation, which is more floral. It's almost Art Nouveau, really, when you look at this style of design. You may notice now, in this point in the video, that you can see the actual graphic qualities that I'm gaga about. When you were looking at just the stone, this is kind of muddy to your eye. You're like, oh, it's all gray with little flecks of green and stuff. But no, if you really get into it, it's better, and it's much better. All right, so look at that. We're not going to go too deep into the face. We'll round out where the hairline is. Yeah, fine, good. And we know where his lips are. This is a pretty relief cut face, so this is actually going to be tricky. We're going to have to press in with different colors to get the face to work. Now, some faces are just flat. Over here to the right, I don't know if you can see it from there, the skull and the crossbones above it, and the wings on either side. And those stylistic objects on either right and left, those are gourds, symbolic of the castaway body. That is flat, and when you rub it, it's easy, because it's like color form shapes. It doesn't make any problems. This is a relief carving. The eyes, the nose, the mouth, which is why the bridge of the nose is coming out hard, the pupils of the eyes are coming out hard, and the upper lip is coming out hard. Everything else is sort of subsumed into the surface. So, anyways, let's keep going. Other side. Other. Marking here. Okay, that's that. You'll find the workers' lines. You'll find them, even though they were etched. Oh, I don't know. What are we here? 1779, 1879, 1979, Windows 79, 40 years ago, 45 years ago. You know, so 245 years. And so you get into it like so, and then once you've found the face again and getting those wings in, don't really need to give these a lot of attention because you're going to go into it with a different color entirely. I am going to go in with a warm color on this Art Nouveau styling here. This, I suppose, what you would stylistically call acanthus, which is not really acanthus. Acanthus is much more ornate, but this was the level of the carver's skill. It's not slouchy. No. I got nothing to say against it because. First of all, look at that bud. That's a bean sprout. It's a watermelon seed sprout. I've seen them a million times. And they go out with the bi leaves on either side, and then it turns on itself and then spreads here and here, and then it turns on itself again and curves around and bifurcates here. Now, I love that. It does it on both sides equally. You can just imagine him flipping the stencil. Same with these. Maybe this was another stencil. They probably had a whole kit. All right. That is our starting point. Now I'm going to go ahead and figure out what colors we're going to do. And the first thing I know we're going to do is red of the heart. Got to do the heart. And it's going to be bright red. Now, green, we're going to involve green, definitely. Blue, we're definitely going to involve blue. Gold, no. Brown, maybe. Okay, so let me just sort some colors here. That's a dark blue. That's a purple. We're definitely going to go there. Silver, black, again, not really. I know I've got red here. I just got to dig for it. Be patient with me. This kit's been put away for a while. Light purple? No, I don't think so. All right, fine. Give me a sec. I swear it's here. I hope it's here. There it is. So, all right, that gold. This is a more brilliant gold than the one that's in the new kit. This is from the old Stolen Rubbings Enterprises kit from the early 80s, I think. So it's a different make of stuff, but it works. Now let's just go ahead and do our pleasure here. Now you can see that line. You're not meant to see that line. That's the workman's center line. And he laid that in. But notice, please, the heart. Take a good look at it. It's asymmetrical. It has lobes. It has one side bigger than the other, which is the closest that this artist could relate to anatomically correct. This was not supposed to be some fanciful heart. This was supposed to be a representation of a heart. Much like you see sort of like very gruesome looking stylistic hearts rising up to heaven or wherever in the cultures of Peru and the Yucatan. This guy was trying to make the heart look like a heart. So that's as close as I want to make it to deep red and get as much pigment in there as possible. And now, because we can, I got the purple handy. Purple works really good with red, so you can just cram it right in there, right on top of it. And it makes a good blending on the edge of the thing, like that. That's good. I think. And okay, I think that's a good limit. We don't want to go too much here. We're going to make it look 3D, sort of. See what I mean? Gives it a little roundness. Okay. Now for our garland here. This is a shroud. This here is meant to be our legend or script, and I'm thinking, even before I get too deep into it, that gold is what I want to do that in. So without further ado, let's just go gold with the script. Where the brown, or rather the sepia, has built up, we want to dig in and superimpose the gold right on top of that other color, so it doesn't really appear so much. And if you look at it at a certain angle of light, the gold will reflect more light than the red, and then you'll get your desired result. Redeem your hours. I'm going to have to stand up for this job. It requires some switching. Yep, bumble fingers. Okay, the full description now is apparent. Redeem your hours. Our glass is run, and so must yours. It's a warning. The warning is, don't forget to live. Really, is what it amounts to. And I like that message, actually. I have a tattoo that reminds me of the same thing, actually. And ironically, the tattoo that I have is from another grave marker. The design of it is, anyway. Redeem your hours. Our glass. Hour. Glass. Now, this is the thing. It's a pun. Hourglass. That's an hourglass. And this is our glass. And this is what it's referring to. But I love the double entendre. Hey, 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 hey! What's the matter? Finn, come here. Oh, you're over there? Okay, that's all right. Did you get bitten by something? The dog is with me. He's a little skittish. All right. I fibbed. I said I wasn't going to use a lot of silver. I have both silver and silver with colors infused. And the ones that I'm going to use for the shroud is silvery blue and straight silver. First with the straight silver, actually. So let's go. So. That's just what that is, and you can see it when I put the wax to it. This is obviously meant to be cloth bound on both ends. There and there. So it's kind of neat. I haven't done this in a while. My arms are not up to that level they were. I've got on the bicycle a few times still, and I do walk every day. I must have walked 4 miles today so far, and another half to get here. The car is parked down the hill in that direction. It's quite a hill too. You can probably see beyond me over here. It goes down quite a ways. Now, okay, we've surrounded that. This is open space. We're going to leave it open space. Yeah, there's no graphic detail in here, I don't think. So we're going to leave it be. This is all we need. So I'm going to shadow this with blue silver. Okay, so here's the undersides of the folds. And you can be specific with that. You don't have to just ham-fist it and get the blue everywhere. You just get it on the places where you want it. There's a crease. And over here. And another crease. And another crease. And the end of that fold. And there's this, which we want the underside of. And then this also. This, like so. This is also part of the shroud, right there, and like so, and yeah, like so. Okay, so we've got that. That's pretty good, actually. I think that's actually doing quite nice. So, not much going on here. I think that's pretty much it. We're going to do some concentrated rubbing now on that detail there, just to get it etched in. And I think we want to use the straight old green. No, we're going to stick to brown actually. Black, red, blue, more blue. Here's the brown. These little chairs with the cup holders, very handy for keeping the waxes. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and give this a good hard dose of a dark brown color for the Ma. We presume, since we're in Newburyport and we like exotic woods, that the frame of this particular device is mahogany. Not out of the question. Turned mahogany staves here. takes a little doing. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, I'm going to give that some up and down here. Now, just a few feet in that direction, there's another grave marker, which is of note. It shows a young lady with a lily that has fallen, and the lily is on a table, a little tripod table, which also would be made of mahogany. And the lady is demurring and sort of like, oh. And then opposite is a fouled anchor. Now, the fouled anchor is a misunderstood symbol. I mean, we see it and we think, oh, safety, an anchor. No, no. There's a double entendre with the symbolism there. One is the anchor forms a cruciform top, so it's a crucifix. But at the same time, it is fouled, meaning the anchor chain or anchor line is up around the item, and that usually indicates a problem. If you're a mariner, you know that if you have the rope around your anchor, then the anchor is not going to set. The anchor is not going to actually find ground and hold fast. That's what an anchor is supposed to do. So when you see a fouled anchor, what you're looking at is peril. Now, also, in the way of hourglasses, and you notice we're finding the raised parts behind the wooden graphic, which is flat, and so there's both left and right these interior carved lobes that give the optical effect of an hourglass. And this is mostly accompanied with another inscription, which is in Latin: Memento mori, fugit hora. It is, the soul is fleeting, and remember death. Oh, time is fleeting. It's the same here. Redeem your hours. Our glasses run. And it's the same message. Okay. We're going to get in that, because this doesn't need to be any white there. This is a picture. We're going to make the picture happen. And so in order to do that, we're going to dig in. And that's pretty good. And I like this green silver. These older metallics are much less prone to sloughing off onto your skin. I don't feel the need to be wearing gloves today, but I'll wash my hands right after I'm done here anyway. All right, these guys. Oh, well, stylistically, this has got to be green with blue atop it. So let me get the blue handy. I got it here. Yeah. Don't give me any grief. Where's the blue? There it is. Okay, this is a dark blue from an earlier time, I think. Yeah, it is. There's the green. All right, so plink, plink. Come here. Come here. So, let's go for blue wings. Notice, please, the lines. And notice again that if you bear down on one edge, you get essentially a 3D image. Rubbing is so fun. I do love it. All right, let's go like this. Color our friend. Notice, please, when we get to the other side, we can start moving our highlights to the opposite side of the wing. Once again, enhancing that umbrella effect. Just chill, Finnegan. So it's a Sunday afternoon here in Newburyport. Lots of people riding motorcycles about, as you can hear in the background. Okay, that's a good green, but I think I have a better one. This one has more blue in it, and so it's gonna sort of give a complement to the opposite side. Once again, don't get lazy. Use one edge more than the other, and you'll get a again, collar and other side here, and keep your accents on the line for the outer edge, and you will accentuate that umbrella effect again. Go ahead like that, and then fill in the tips with a cross stroke like so. And of course these ridges that form the spine of the wing. Yeah, I think that's what you would call it. Now, looking pretty complete already. I'm going to continue with the green and blue. Here's what I'm going to do. Green, green. I'd like to turn the camera and show you the dog. He is very much alert, keeping watch. But he's also very content to be wherever I am. So I don't even have him on a leash. He's just hanging out. There's a group of folks down the hill in a house, locals, drinking up, having fun. Can't say as I blame them. Especially if they're high school age kids. They're going to be in school again soon. Let off a little steam this weekend. Stay off the roads, Labor Day. And should do everything well. Okay, so you see here, we echo that, and now I'm going to do the same thing with the blue. And notice, please, you're getting a better result if you work from the center out. From the center out. This is always going to be a darker, more defined line. Don't worry, Finn. It's just acorns falling. A little early for that, but I suppose. Okay, that's good. And now we fill that in. blunt end of this going. Come on now. That's nice. There we go. So this stuff is coming off pretty thick onto the under level, the under layer, as it were, which is kind of what I wanted, because I wanted it to cover over the rust or sepia color. Now, there's a lot of epitaphs that are associated with old gravestones, especially from this era. We're 1779 and 1781, respectively. 1781. If those of you familiar with a book called The First Salute know that at that point, no other nation had recognized the United States as a naval power. It wasn't until, forget the name of the boat, I'm so ashamed to say, I think it was 1882 that a governor, a British governor, I think. No, it could have been French. No, it was French. A French governor of one of the Indies saluted a American naval vessel as it came in with a proper diplomatic gun salute, which sealed the deal pretty much. I mean, historically, that was the moment that the United States became an equal among nations. All right, let's see. I'm vacillating between what I want to do for the faces or not. I do have a stick of a very light mauve. I want to use that. Let's see what it does with the loon end. Okay, that's cute. I like that color. I don't think I want that color for those things. That color is complementary here to the gold. Okay, this is basically a purple. It's really mauve, but it is a good complementary to the yellow hues in the gold. So we'll get that over the top. And down here too. Just got a little stick of it. But it's enough to do the job. Okay, I stand corrected. There is apparent damage there, but that damage wasn't done since the stone has been placed. That was done by the carver himself. He was working on this particular curve here. Yep, that. And notice he squared it off right there, but he broke it. This chipped and went away. He probably said something to the effect of, "Oh, fudge." Or well-known synonyms. Okay, so now we'll get into this too. That's good. Oh, that's nice. Now, we'll really go to town right here where this meets, because graphically, that downward point is intentional. That is not an accident. Alright, so let's what did we say? We wanted to stick with the brown? I think so, yeah, I think we do. Keep this nice and dark. So we're gonna stick with the brown. That's this. yeah, creates a more dramatic arch, especially if I bear down on the bottom part of it towards the inner edges of the lunette. I like that. Okay. This is part of the happy accidents of the process, because I didn't think there was going to be anything there. I didn't think I was going to do anything graphic there at all. I thought I was going to leave it blank, which is, of course, has its own uses. If you can hear in the background, there's some pretty active folks around here. I don't know whether they have a sporting event on that they're excited about, or what. So usually I would not do this, but I am going to look for black. Black is really my last resort, but the faces really kind of demand very fine delineation, and black is really good for that. So you can see the hair coming out, all of the follicles and everything, and the tuft of widow's peak even. There's eyebrow number 1. Eye number 1. So here. I wonder if I have. Pro tip: when you need to make a sharp edge, make a sharp edge. That's about it. Really not going to add more to it by digging in, as the play of light and shadow is what's creating this visage. So you want to make that the point. No, like, it's not a game of how much color can I get on here. In this case, it's trying to describe the form underneath. So you do have a little more to the lip going on, and look how accurate that is. Actually, it's actually quite a lovely thing. So then we'll do our friend over here. Same deal. As much delineation in the nose, left of the lips, and the smile. Oh boy. I love the way they did the eyes. I mean, you really can see them looking in a direction. It's not just holes, not just dots. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I like it. So we'll finish up by just rubbing in the red parts that have come through. Sepia, that is. Okay, that's good. This one's a little darker. We're going to go some more on the outer edge of this to make it a balance. And over here. That's fine. That's good. I like that. That's pretty good. Give this a little oomph on the top edge. Get into the hair a little more. Well, I'll be fucked. It's raining. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. All right. If that's it, that might be it. I don't think it is. I'm going to hope that this rain is just a passing shower, and we're going to continue on. I'm going to now pause and turn this 90 degrees to what I was showing you before. Okay, so for the purposes of this exercise, I'm going to use the lunettes with the what looks like a bloom facing out. Then I'm going to make those face out on the left and right of each side. So like these here, that'll do. Notice there is enough room to really make that work graphically. So I'm going to go ahead and line that up, make sure it's good. That looks really good actually. And there's that line that the cutter made. And there it is again. So if I hold that stiff, and give this some position with the tape, like so. It should do. And then do the same thing over yonder. That's fine. Like so. And that's from there. I need to have that taut. Okay, that's pretty good. I will, for the sake of argument, pull that forward and cross tape it like so. See? Now, on this side, we're going to take one here, and one here. So, and so once you have that down, trying not to deform the other image, push that over and stick it to the back. And then do the same thing up here. Okay, so this is something that most people, when they're doing this, don't think of. They don't consider, oh, I can move stuff around. I'll tell you a story about Romney Marsh Burial Ground. Romney Marsh Burial Ground is in Revere, Massachusetts. And it is a place where I found a stone, which I was really glad to find. It had this great Masonic five-pointed star. And I was like, okay, that's a good capture, as it were. But as I went into it, a week or so later, some people have kicked the stone over. It was the most malicious piece of just nonsense I had ever seen, and I really didn't know what to make of it. So what I did was I made a rubbing of the stone, and then I lined up my piece with the remaining stone and put the two together. And that was the first time I realized, oh, I can move the paper all around and make multiple rubbings of the same stone on the paper. So that's when that kind of happened with me for the first time anyway. Now I have done much with the gold here in the top, and I have done a lot with the mauve color on the edges. I like that. So what we're going to do down here is again concentrate on the gold on that part there, and then I think I might fill that in with the rust color if I so desire. Let's see. Do I have the rust? All right, let's see what we get. Just going only to here, mind you. Here's our balloon. Here's our line. And that lines up perfectly. Good. And we'll get into this. I'm very grateful. You can hear that it is in fact actually raining. Doesn't seem to be bothering Finning and the dog. And so far, it has not intruded upon our work. I have a very giant maple tree above us. Now, I just noticed that there's some feathers here. And we made the feathers blue there. We made the feathers green there. So we're going to green these feathers. Just a little bounce of color. I have some green metallic silver somewhere. I think it's deep in here. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, that's the one. Okay. So with the green metallic silver, we go into this artichoke looking piece. Like that. Down. So it's got gold underneath and this green metallic silver above it. I think that's pretty cool. Rain's stopping. Still hasn't fallen on us. Okay. And I mentioned the mauve, and I wanted to use it for the edges here. And let's see if I can get it out of here. There it is. Okay, now that's going to be our alignment point for the other stuff. Now I said I had the rust handy. There it is. I want to just fill in here. Because that's just graphically what that's going to do anyway. Yes, boys and their toys. Remember that kid who used to run through the neighborhood with clothespins and playing cards stuck in his spokes? I hated that kid. So, I think, do I want to do that? No, I don't think I do. I think what I want to do is continue the purple. And yeah, that's very good. I like that a lot. Okay, that's cool. Look at that. Doesn't it just totally solidify that piece right there? As these go, it's just really fun to look at. Okay, I'm going to pause and turn this 90 degrees and put the other side over there. Once again, we've aligned it so that the lunette edge is going to protrude upwards. I think we've come a little shy. Hold on just a moment while I reposition. I just noticed we're a little low. Actually, high? High. Yeah. So leave this tape on the paper, but remove it from the rock in several places. And now I'm going to go and release it from the back. So what we want is for that purple edge to go up against the rock, but for this to be a little lower. There we go. Now it should be right. I want this to be a little proud of that. No, it's still not right. Down further. I'm almost running out of paper here, but I think we want to line it up just like so. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so now that we're there, cinch that in, cinch that over. Hello. Should be good. Like so. Okay, so that's pretty good. Yeah, that's closer to the edge than I would think for comfort, but you see, that's important, and this to here is important. So that's as close as I can get without it going right over the edge. So that's what I gotta do. And we'll cinch these down, cinch that up, cinch that over. All right, that should do it. Now, once again, I want to take up this part of the net with red, or rust as it were, the same color that I used in this part here. So we'll just fake it for a little bit here and put that in. Okay, and it forms a nice base line to the lunette, even though actually what this graphic is the vertical part of that. Now, I believe I went with gold with green gold over it. So I have the gold. And I have the green gold over it. Now, one thing that I just noticed, and I'm going to have to see if it works. Notice, please, am I going to make it? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. It lines up. That's pretty darn cool. Once again, this was just a stencil that the carver picked up and flipped. That's all he did. That's what we get. Alrighty, that's pretty cool. Alright. Go all the way to the end here and yield to that. And we're gonna green right here. When this is done, I'm going to put this in the top 10th percentile of quality, and that's saying something, because a lot of these are bummers if I just don't keep my head with me. And, so this one here, I drove from Gloucester. It's a solid 45 minutes. See, I almost went beyond my point. And I'll make that a feature right there, and then call it a day, because it kind of works. The other leafy parts going this hither and yon. But Boy, doesn't that work, huh? Okay, now I had solid green. My color's handy. Shit. I am losing it here. There it is. Found it. Yeah, woof woof. Don't worry about it then. Okay, I wanted a little... Oh, no I didn't. I wanted blue. Green's on the other end. I remember now. This repetitive digging in is, I know, somewhat tiresome. I did find it right away. So. Okay, so let's go here. All right, see? That's all I wanted. Just a little of that. Now I dig in here. And I get my little stick of mauve. There we go. There it goes. And then we go here. Look at that, huh? That's pretty bloody awesome. Bell's tolling. 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, 6 o'clock. And we're done. So, let me just turn this 90 degrees for you so you get the full effect. Always police your area. Get this tape under control. Do not leave tape on the stone. This is the sign of a total dick. And you don't want to be that person. You don't want other people to come to this graveyard and see, oh no, they've marred our precious artifact. They need to be stopped. Because that is how town councils get into the habit of being busybodies and saying, oh, you can't do that anymore. So if you want to preserve this particular, let's call it a hobby, for other people, the way to do it is to do it right. Always use the right materials, as I have shown you. The right tape, the right paper, the right wax. Get them at gravestonerubbingsupplies.com and have fun. Another tip. Somewhere on this, take a good pen and write down the full inscription and the dates, especially where this is. If you want to, you can add GPS data on it. I'm going to take a picture with my phone, a more detailed picture with light, and then I'm going to inscribe this on one side. I have some really nice fountain pens, so use a very light ink with a fine fountain pen quickly, and it should go in without bleeding too much. Pencil, best option, actually. Just a straight old number 2 pencil, or even a B. All right, hope you've had fun. Hey Finnegan, woof.